Hey there, Angel. How you doing? Another successful night for you, huh? That's pretty good. You're doing much better than I am. What's up, Devin? How you doing there, Tim? Glad to see the regulars in here. That's pretty cool. Don't be sorry, Angel. Don't be sorry. I'm making a comeback. I'm making a comeback. I could be down for a little while, man. This has been a rough week. Really a rough week with the WNBA. Can't wait. To be totally honest with you guys, I can't wait until it's over. I'm gonna grind it out because I'm a grinder, but I'm definitely looking forward to the NFL and then basketball, NBA in October. How's everybody doing today? Other than that, you okay, Tim? Hey, that's it. We live for another day, man. That's what we'll be doing today. Today, man, I'm telling you, this slate, oh man, this slate has got me, just driven me crazy today. I spent about 2 hours looking at stuff with this slate, and Jesus, these prices, man, on Fanduel just kill you, man. It's hard to put lineups together, man. It really is to put a nice lineup. But we're gonna try to do that because obviously we all want to try to make some money. I know I do. I got like a 3 or 4 day losing streak. I cashed two last night. I think $4 each. It wasn't really much at all. It's not what I am actually in the game for. Old Gov, how you doing, buddy? All right. All right, I gave it a couple minutes. Let's get it going here. Hey, thanks again, guys, for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. I see a lot of the regulars here. I definitely appreciate your guys' support, man. I'm gonna do everything I can. Like always, I always tell you this. I'm gonna do everything I can to give us the best fighting chance as far as information is concerned. So, we're gonna dive right in here, man. 3-game slate. Chicago, Atlanta. It's the first game here today, and I gave these numbers earlier. I don't know how many of you checked out the video from earlier today, but I always go over them again here at the live show. Coming in the last 4 games, I always like to get those numbers in the last 3 or 4 games, get a little gauge of where the team's at. And Chicago comes in 57, giving up 57 points per game to the front court of their opponents, and 35.7 points per game in the backcourt to guards. They're both slightly a bit above their average, so they definitely have had a little bit of a letdown in those areas. But again, they've faced pretty decent teams during that 4-game stretch. They played Dallas twice, they played Phoenix, and they played LA. So definitely had some really tough matchups. So that I could understand it. They're gonna get another one here today with Atlanta. Atlanta comes in the last 4 games. They've been actually pretty darn good, other than losing the other day and falling on their winning streak. They have been pretty solid up front and in the backcourt as far as defending their opponents. 47 points per game in the front court, and their opponents have only scoring 27.2 points per game in the backcourt. These averages are definitely a little bit below of what their average for the season. They average giving up only 49.5 during the course of the season, so they actually have been better over the course of the last 4 games, as well as in the backcourt, only neutralizing teams to 27.2. So that's also better by 4 or 5 points. So they're definitely playing really good. I still think this is a really tough matchup for Atlanta. Like I said, after they lost the game the other day, I did mention that we're gonna see how well they handle going into an 8-game winning streak and then eventually now losing. We're going to see if they can bounce back. They really got demoralized against Washington, so they definitely need a good game here today. They are at home once again, so we'll see what happens there. But, areas to target here, obviously Chicago is pretty poor in the front court and in the back court, so you definitely want to consider some players from Atlanta. I think this game here could be a game stack, but I am not game stacking this particular game. I kind of like the Vegas-Washington game a little bit more for stack, at least as far as the numbers crunch down. As far as price value for the players, you could get 5 players out of there. But here in the Chicago-Atlanta game, the key players I like here, obviously Vandersloot is in a good spot here. Let me just go right into the actual game here so we can see the players. Tiffany Hayes is in a good spot, like I mentioned in my video earlier. I love Tiffany Hayes, but at 7,400 she's pretty expensive, and she's good for 25 to 30. Other than 30 is very rare. It's not something that it's not a consistent play from her getting 35 or better or 40. But in a game like this where Chicago is one of the weaker defending teams against guards, and they haven't been that good as of late. They've been pretty much a little bit below their average for the year. Then you got to give Atlanta the benefit of the doubt here. If you want to go after the best guard, Tiffany Hayes would not be a bad choice. Simply, Tiffany Hayes is, she does pretty much everything. Tiffany Hayes is shooting 47, pretty much almost 47% from the floor. With her shots. She takes about 12.5 shots a game, and she shoots 30% from three. So there's that possibility that she could have a nice game here if they spread the floor a little bit. I do like, for Atlanta in this game, I definitely like more Renee Montgomery, just simply because of the upside. And not only that, she's cheaper. She's $2,400 cheaper. I could take that $2,400 and gauge it somewhere else. And then maybe just basically fade Hayes and go with Montgomery. Montgomery has 35, 40-point upside. She's capable of getting there. Now, granted, she's not going to do that all the time. So you basically are just, just spinning the wheel here and hoping that she has a great game. But she's in a good matchup. She's in a matchup where defensively Chicago has issues with guards. Atlanta's not an explosive guard team. I really like the tandem of Vandersloot and Quigley better in this matchup than I like Tiffany Hayes with Renee Montgomery. So if I'm going to go with anybody from Atlanta, I probably would go Montgomery, but Tiffany Hayes is not a bad play if you're willing to pay for that at that price of $7,400. One thing's for certain in this slate, I noticed there ain't really any major value in the 3,000 range in this entire slate, especially at guard. So I think that, to be totally honest with you, the best guard play and the lowest price here that I see, because I'm not high on Curry or Jefferson, I've been on them before. I think Daniel Robinson against Seattle may be a sneaky little play at 4,200. She doesn't have great upside, but she's capable of getting 25, 30. She'll definitely at least be able to get value or better. But that's basically it. I can't even think of even going down here with any one of the teams. I just don't see anybody down here that I think I would want to take a stab at, other than maybe Jefferson or Copper. But Copper has been, she hasn't been coming through at all as of late. But again, Chicago, Atlanta, I think the best bet, Vandersloot or Quigley or both, or with Atlanta, either you're going to go with Tiffany Hayes or not. My recommendation is definitely pay down. Renee Montgomery is a good spot. I also think Miss Sykes is a very sneaky play. Sykes is shooting 42% from the floor. Remember, when I gave you the statistics earlier in the first video today, we realized that field goal percentage was an area that we needed to look at. Okay, Chicago gives up 46.5% to their opponents. They're 11th. They're almost dead last in defending against field goals. So field goal percentage wise, you definitely want to target Atlanta, and their better shooting field goal percentage shooters is Tiffany Hayes, Miss Sykes, even Elizabeth Williams is shooting 51% from the floor, so definitely another person to target in this particular game. But at guard, that's where I'm looking at for Chicago and Atlanta. Entirely up to you guys. Sloot, Hayes, definitely not bad plays. I would probably want to pay down and get Quigley, and you can even throw in there a Diamond DeShields or a Brittany Sykes, and I think you'll be okay. As far as the forwards in this game, man, as far as the excuse me, let me get to there. Sorry about that. As far as the forwards here, McCourtry, I'm not on Breland today. I don't think this is a really good matchup for Breland. I think it's definitely a good matchup for Elizabeth Williams. Like I said before, Elizabeth Williams is shooting 51% from the floor. She takes about 6-7 shots a game, and she has had the best success out of the front players in the front court. If you're looking at how she has played against Chicago, she has had the best success. Williams has had a 27 in 27 minutes, and then she put up a 30 spot in 23 minutes. So she's had two pretty darn good games against Chicago. So I like Elizabeth Williams here, and I would be willing to take a stab at Angel McCourtry simply because she's the top scorer on the team and she takes the most shots. I mean, how many shots she takes a game? I mean, McCourtry takes 16 shots per game, man. So she gets a lot of touches. So you definitely want to always at least have a shot there, especially in a slate like this where you just the numbers to pay up for the guards to the forwards here is really a lot of money. We got tons of good forwards here, but 87, 86, 85, 84 really is going to be tough. Any one of these are all good to go. Any one of them. So as far as Chicago and Atlanta as forwards, there's no doubt that McCourtry is in play. Williams is in play. I am definitely fading on Breland today, and I definitely love Stephanie Dolson here today. 5,900, man. You cannot pass up that price and not have her as one of your forwards today and at least take a shot. If you're not going to go with Dolson, at least give Cheyenne Parker a definite stab and plug her in there somewhere. I think either one of these two girls is going to do fine, but Stephanie Dolson has had the best success. Okay? Dolson is shooting 51% from the floor, 9.9 points per game. She's shooting, she takes about close to 7 shots a game, and then in the games that she's played, she has put up a 37 in 30 minutes and a 30 spot in 23 minutes. So Stephanie Dolson definitely in play. All right, we go to Las Vegas and Washington. The better plays there. Obviously, McBride and Tolliver in play. If I'm going to have a choice, I will obviously go with McBride, but I think Christy Tolliver is $1,600 cheaper. It's not a bad play at $1,600 cheaper if you're going to match those two girls up. She is capable of giving you 30 to 35. When we get here a little lower, I'm not a Miss Young. T Young, I'm definitely fading today. I kind of like Natasha Howard more for the Seattle game in that same range. Remember, Ms. Young plays mostly forward. She plays a little bit of guard, but mostly on Las Vegas, she is a forward. KP, Miss Plum, could be, someone you can consider. I looked at her numbers. I mean, she only put a 3.5 spot in 10 minutes. They only played one time before, and she wasn't really much of the part of the rotation then. But she is pretty solid now, man. She's averaging 7.5 points a game, takes about 6.5 shots a game, shooting 40% from the floor and 45% from three, taking about threes per game. So I mean, not a whole lot of threes. As you know, Las Vegas coming into this game, the key here is, can Las Vegas neutralize Washington's three-point shooting? Because Washington comes in here as a 34.7% shooting percentage, whereas Las Vegas, their opponents, they give up pretty much 34.3% shooting. So they're pretty much, that's about what Washington shoots, and that's pretty much where Las Vegas is at as far as defending it. So they're going to get their shots. If Washington is able to get their shots with Tolliver, who is their top three-point shooters are Tolliver, okay, Tiana Hawkins, Natasha Cloud, and Ariel Atkins, as well as Della Don. Della Don is shooting 39% and takes about 4.5 threes per game. On top of that, we know Della Don, 20 points per game, takes about 16 shots during the course of a game, and she's averaging 7.5 rebounds. So definitely Della Don is someone you could consider. But when you're looking at the Washington matchup, you're looking at they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential dangerous three-point shooters that are shooting all 35% or better. Tolliver is at 34, Atkins at 35, Natasha Cloud at 36%, and Della Don at 39%, and Hawkins at 36%. So I mean, definitely a dangerous situation for Las Vegas here against Washington, simply because Washington, again, percentage points from three, they are third in the league. They shoot, their offense revolves around the three-point shot. So I mean, at least 29% of their game plan is three-pointers, and they're one of the best. They're third in the league. Whereas Las Vegas defending, they are dead last, 27.3%, their opponents. So they're really going to have an issue with Washington, and Washington shooting at 28.6%. That's actually in a percentage more than how bad Las Vegas defends against the three-point shot. So I like Washington's three-point shooters in this game, So Tolliver is in play. Ariel Atkins, 5,500. If you want to pay up $700 more, you definitely should go with Christy Tolliver. She's the second leading scorer on the team. Atkins could be, if you want to get a savings of 700, you could go with Atkins. If not, you can go even cheaper and go with Natasha Cloud. I think Natasha Cloud is in a good spot here as well today. Then when you go to bottom half here of this game, maybe the only possible little value place in the entire slate is probably going to be here, Mariah Jefferson or Monique Curry. But these girls don't get sufficient minutes, man. I mean, this is what scares me. Jefferson, 14, 11, 12. I mean, it's just not sufficient minutes, even though, granted, when she does play 17, 18, or 19 minutes, she's putting up 1 fantasy point per minute. But you want some upside there. So I think you get the best possible value play of the game, and you go with that. And in this case, it'll be Caroline Swords. Caroline Swords was doing very well in the first half of the game the other day, and she got into foul trouble, and she blew everything. I had her in about 3 of my lineups. I thought she was going to be a solid play, and she would have, but would have, could have. She got herself into foul trouble. So if she could stay out of foul trouble, she can help out at 3,700. I think she'll cover 15 or more points easy. She can get you 20 to 25, and we already know she's been capable of getting 30. So Swords is definitely a nice value play here in this matchup and in the entire slate. I think she's probably the best forward that has the highest upside and the potential to play the most minutes. I do like Della Don for sure in this matchup. Asia Wilson, you cannot go wrong with any one of these girls. It's all about how you're going to situate your lineup. I say personally, I think the right thing to do is take one solid stud guard, one solid stud forward, and then basically go mid-range on everywhere else and get one, and you'll be able to still balance out enough on a decent enough lineup where you don't have to worry about a major value play. Your major value play, the best one that I see for me is Caroline Swords. I don't see nobody at guard under 4K that I think will be a good play, unless you want to go with, like I said, Jefferson or Curry, which I think is just they're not going to get it done, at least in my opinion. Another little sneaky play, low value in this game could be Nia Coffey. You know, Coffey's starting to come around a little bit and giving her a little bit of minutes now. 3,300. She got 17 minutes here, then all of a sudden it dipped down again. But here, 1 fantasy point per minute thus far. If she can get 15 minutes or something, it'll be great. But she'll get those minutes if Caroline Swords is going to continue to have her issues. You know, she'll get a little bit more. But we're hoping, in my case, I'm hoping that Caroline Swords plays well, and she'll be the best play there. I am not on anybody else over here. I don't like Bone. I don't like Miss Park. Ariel Powers could possibly be a play. Washington got her for a reason. She got 18 minutes the other day, put up 15 fantasy points. So, yeah, you know, she's capable of getting you 19 or better. I think that she is definitely in play. But, again, it's entirely up to you guys. I'm just letting you know what the data, what basically I've been able to research. And basically it's telling me that Sanders, Wilson, and Della Don should all be in good spots here. And think about it here. Asia Wilson with Miss Young in front. I like Miss Young. She's physical. But Sanders is just as physical, and I think Sanders brings more to the table. So I will be favoring Sanders. And I like also in the Seattle game, I like Natasha Howard is a little more pricier than going with T. Young. That's where I'm at here with this game. And in this game here, I mean, man, we don't know how Minnesota is going to play today. But Minnesota, I mean, you know, out of this game here, wow, it's tough. I mean, the backcourt of Jewel Lloyd and Sue Bird are fantastic. This team is solid right now. I think the momentum Seattle has and the way they're playing right now is going to be, I think personally, is going to be a bit much for Minnesota today. But Minnesota is going to have to definitely slow down the pace of this game and get into those half courts and basically try to make it into half court game. Cannot let Seattle get in transition, get in that fast-paced mode, because Howard is athletic. Brianna Stewart is athletic. Jewel Lloyd is athletic. Sue Bird, for her age, is still very athletic. They push the ball. These ladies can definitely ball their butts off. And that's where with fouls, you know, Maya Moore is good enough speed. So is Augustus. But Danielle Robinson, out of all Minnesota, I think Minnesota, if you're looking at anybody at guard in Minnesota, probably Danielle Robinson. At least for me, 4,200, I kind of like her there in this matchup. I do not like Augustus at 54. I'd rather pay down and save those $1,200. Jewel Lloyd is definitely, the last time she played, I told you she was going to be a solid play. She was. I think she's in good shape here again, too. Minnesota, I can't see how they're going to be able to shut down Lloyd and Bird. But, again, The only way they get shut down is just exactly what happened the last time. Remember, Minnesota did win the first game of the season way back at the beginning of the year. Jewel Lloyd had a horrific game. So if she plays the way she's capable of playing and the way she has been playing, they're going to be all right. But if she plays the way she played back early in the first few games of the season when she played Minnesota, then that's going to definitely hurt Seattle, and chances are they're going to lose. So Lloyd and Stewart have to play well. And actually, Lloyd, let's see, I'm going to tell you again. Jewel Lloyd, yeah, she put up a 9. She shot 2 of 11 in that game and 1 of 6 from 3. It's terrible. The only one who had a good game was actually Sue Bird, 22 minutes, put up 26 fantasy points, which is not that bad. Breanna Stewart had a 48 spot in 30 minutes. She came off pretty good. All right. The Minnesota front court dominated that game. Yeah, Fowles put up 58 fantasy points in 33 minutes, and Maya Moore put up for 48.9, pretty much a 49 spot in 30 minutes. Total disaster for Seattle in that first game. But Seattle is a much better team than they were back, 10, 12, 14 games ago. They're playing so much better as a team right now. They're so dangerous. So I like Howard as well in this matchup simply because Howard has been playing so well as of late. Not so much so in that game. In that matchup, she played 23 minutes, only put up 15.5 fantasy points. All right, but as of late, she's been climbing the ladder. 42 here, 44, 43, 3 40-plus games in the last maybe 7-8 games, and playing there's a minimum minutes. And what I like about her is that she's a defender. She's a shot blocker, so I'm okay with her getting only 27, 26, or 29 if she could still get me 40, because we know that she is getting some blocks and steals. As you can see, 5, 5, 2. She's had 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21 blocks over the last 6 games. So you love somebody like that. Remember, guys, we want fantasy points. What else can I tell you about some of these girls? Well, Sylvia Fowles, in play. She has that 50, 55-point upside. Yeah, she's definitely in play. She put up a 58 spot against this team the last time. But Seattle, again, is playing a little bit better. Remember, Seattle's coming into this game. In the last 4 games against Chicago, Connecticut, Atlanta, and Indiana, they kept those teams down to 41.7 points per game from the floor. And when I say 41.7 points per game, this is not fantasy points, guys. This is actually just floor points. They're holding down teams 41.7. That's 5 points better than their average for the year at 46.6. So they actually have been shutting people down, Seattle, as of late. They have had their struggles in the backcourt. So that's where you figure, where could Minnesota take an advantage of? They don't have anybody that can really, I don't think Augustus is that explosive, but Danielle Robinson is. She's feisty. She's willing to get into the paint. She's willing to drive with the ball and make things happen. She has those moments where she could put up 20, 25, and with her being at 4,200, you only need really 20, 21. If she can get you 25 or even a 6X at 30, you're happy. And I think that today she could be one that we could squeeze in there as one of the guards, considering that I really don't think there is a low value, a nice value play at guard for me today. Unless like I said, you go with Jefferson or Monique Curry. That's where I pretty much at. Maya Moore, definitely hands down. I think she has the best possible game here today. I like her more than I like Sylvia Fowles. In this whole entire game, I'd rather pay down and grab a Moore or grab a Howard in this particular game. Okay, I'm not on Rebecca Brunson today. I was on her yesterday, but then again today she'll come back and put up 25 or 30 fantasy points. Hopefully not. Miss Clark, very good field goal percentage. She shoots the ball well. She's one of the ones that shoots the ball well. Remember, when we go into this game, we're thinking about Seattle. They're one of the top 3-point shooting teams. So where they get that from? Clark, Bird, Stewart, Lloyd. Those are their top 4, and Clark is the top percentage shooter, 44%. She takes about three threes per game, and she's shooting 44%. You got Bird at 41%, Breanna Stewart at 37%, and Jewel Lloyd takes the most threes, and she's at 35%. But this is the reason why they're up there at 3-point, as one of the top, actually the top 3-point shooting team at 36.2%. is because of those 4 girls. And then again on this slate, the Washington shooters for 3 are going to probably be real. So we're going to see who's going to have the better group today as far as 3-point shooting, if it's going to be Seattle, Washington, or Chicago. Chicago is pretty good with 3-point shooting, not as good percentage-wise as Washington and Seattle. And like I said, I like Natasha Howard, man. She's averaging 12. She's averaging 12.9 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, shooting 54% from the floor, and she is averaging 2 blocks a game and at least 1 steal a game. So that's why one of the reasons why I like Natasha Howard today. Minnesota coming from a back-to-back. Again, Minnesota has not played a back-to-back this year. At least I didn't see none on the schedule. So we don't know how they're going to handle. The one thing's for certain is they took a bad loss last night. They played the 3rd best team in the league last night. And now tonight they got to go out and play the number 1 team. So really a tough stretch for the Minnesota Lynx here. Let me get to some of your guys' questions, man, and see if we can help each other out here. What we got? Devin, what's up? Let's win. Who we should pay up for guards? Let's yes, James Perkins. Those yeah, the prices on Fanduel are really crazy, man. Yeah, they really just juiced them up. Devin likes Mrs. Cloud today. Yeah, Cloud is in play. Natasha Cloud is in play. If you're looking at someone in this game, remember Washington again against Las Vegas. Las Vegas a little vulnerable defending against threes. So Christy Tolliver, Ariel Atkins, and Natasha Cloud are all in play because all 3 of them have at least a 37% or better shooting percentage shooting threes. As a matter of fact, I can give you the exact numbers. Yeah, we got Natasha Cloud shoots 36% from threes, but she only takes 3 a game. Atkins shoots the most, 4.5, other than Christy Tolliver. Atkins is shooting 35%. Christy Tolliver takes about 6 threes a game on average, and she's at 34%. And you got 4 threes per game by Della Don, and she's at 39%. She has the best percentage shooting from 3. So you can't go wrong with Della Don if you decide to pencil in as a forward. But as far as Washington in the backcourt, yeah, I mean, again, Tolliver, Ariel Atkins, and like I said, Natasha Cloud are definitely in play in this matchup. And if you want to pay down and pay $4,700 for Natasha, she's not a bad play. No, Tim, no, Kay Plum, Kelsey Plum does not play forward. She's actually the point guard for the Aces. She plays the point. Yeah, Ariel Powers. Yeah, Edmonds. Yeah, Ariel Powers. I did mention her at 3,900. She's not that bad. She played what, 15 or whatever, 18 minutes the other day, and she put up 15 fantasy points. She's gonna get a little uptick. They got her there for a reason. I expect Ariel Powers to play a little bit more than just 18 minutes. Let's take a look at her right now. Yeah, 19 you need for her. She played 18 minutes, shot 10.6 rebounds. Not a bad outing. Definitely see her getting at least over 20 minutes today. She could be someone of value today at 4,700, considering there ain't that much value in that bottom tier here for guards on FanDuel. Yeah, Carolyn Swords, OGov. Yeah, basically, I like Carolyn Swords again. She just got to stay away from foul trouble. They're gonna need her today, man. You know, Sanders is really tough underneath. They got Hawkins that comes off the bench. She's a big size kind of girl, very physical as well. You know, and you know Della Don, she gets underneath the board. She gets rebounds, but she is not a banger. Della Don likes to look, she likes to look good. She's a nice looking lady. She likes to keep her face in pretty good shape. So she is more of a, she's in the perimeter. She's looking for shots. She's looking to drive, and she's looking to take up those threes. So that's where Sanders does all the dirty work and Hawkins. But Caroline Swords does all that as well for Las Vegas. They need her to go down there and battle. So she could stay away from problems today. It's going to be tough because she's foul prone as well as Latoya Sanders, and I kind of like Latoya Sanders as well. But Latoya Sanders is a big difference. You're talking about 6,400 and 3,700. I like Daniel Robinson, which I mentioned. Tolliver, yes. Daryl Parker, definitely like Tolliver. I think she's in a good spot. Good three-point shooter, very aggressive. She definitely plays harder when she faces good opponents. She's going to be up there fronting, McBride. She knows McBride is a top dog. She knows McBride is an all-star. She knows McBride is one of the top players on the Vegas team. She's actually the second best player on the team. She's going to want to come out and play her hardest. And there are moments where Christy Tolliver, and I've said this before, way back earlier in the season a few times on some of my videos, this is what I like about her. So, yes, do not sleep on Christy Tolliver, even though she only put a 15 spot in that game. I'm going to double check right now. Christy Tolliver put a 15 spot, yeah. She put a 15 spot in 35 minutes in the first meeting against Vegas. I don't expect that to be the same, outcome today. Okay, Carol C. I'm trying to decide between Vandersloot, McBride, and Lloyd. That is a tough choice. That is a tough choice, man. I can tell you that you cannot go wrong with any one of the three. I think the best matchup for me today, I would say I'm really leaning towards Jewel Lloyd. Vandersloot is definitely in a good matchup. Atlanta has been playing a lot better defending guards, so I'm a little worried about penciling her in over Lloyd. I think Lloyd with Minnesota, even though Minnesota's been playing well against guards as of late, I mean, they're coming in really, really good, but they haven't seen a backcourt of Sue Bird and Jewel Lloyd in a while. So I kind of like, if I'm you, I'm definitely favoring Jewel Lloyd. And if you're not willing to go with Lloyd, definitely take McBride. Yeah, Dantes, I don't know what's the deal with Dantes. I think Dantes is still out. And you know what? I wouldn't even recommend anybody to play Dantes right off the bat. She's been out for so long. I mean, I would want to at least see her play a few games and see where she's at. Yeah, but Monique Billings is in play. It's just I don't know, man. She's let me down a few times, so I'm not too in favor of her. But you could definitely look into Monique Billings. League Pass is free. Yeah, I mean, League Pass is, to be honest with you, James, League Pass is very cheap. I paid for, I think it was only like $20 or $24 for the year, which is fantastic because NBA League Pass and the NFL package is ridiculous. Well, thank goodness that I have DirecTV, and I'm also an AT&T cellular service, subscriber, so I get a nice discount with all that stuff. Thank goodness for that, since they brought DirecTV, AT&T. But yeah, that's pretty good, man. They have a free for a couple of days. That's pretty cool. Cody asking top guard and top forward. Wow. I mean, well, I think going in, I like I said, I like Jewel Lloyd, the matchup against Minnesota. I think for me, she's probably the top guard. I think this is the second time in the last two games I've considered her to be the top. And then when it comes to the forwards, I think the actual best matchup here at forward today is going to be Elena Delle Donne, who's up at the top. I think she's got the best possible matchup against Vegas. Vegas is like 9th or 10th defending forwards and centers, and they actually have been giving up. What have they given up? They're giving up, or they're still on their average. They're giving up 50.5 floor points per game to forwards and centers. And Delle Donne is good for 20, 22. She's come off a game. I think she put up about close to 30 her last game on the floor. Yeah, she put 28 up. So she had a marvelous game the last game out, and she had a pretty good game against Washington the first time around. She put up 41 in 30 minutes, so more than one fantasy point per minute. You're going to get that from Delle Donne. She's a stud, man. She's not only a beauty, she's a stud. Langhorn could be a play if this game gets out of control for Seattle. I didn't mention her, but if this game gets a little out of hand, yeah, I can see where Langhorne could be a possible play. But again, you just don't know. Minnesota really has a tendency of, if they can neutralize Seattle in some way to not have them have that pace, get to the point, they're just hitting everything, because that's how it happens with Seattle. And again, like I love from Seattle is that they have not only the pace, they have the athletic players to play that style. Brianna Stewart is a lean, she's actually kind of small to be on the front court, but she is dangerous in every area of the court, with her game. And then you add in, you add in there Natasha Howard, you add in there Bird, who's still physically fit and very good and still has good speed at her age, and then of course you got the young Lloyd. I mean, they are very, very dangerous. This is a very big task for Minnesota, especially after losing last night. And Brianna Stewart is no different than kind of similar style play than Candace Parker. So Brianna Stewart is definitely a fine play today too. I like Jewel Lloyd a little bit better in the Seattle game, and I do like Natasha Howard to go up there and battle against Brunson and all the other girls. Monique Curry. If you're gonna decide, Mr. Lewis, ML Lewis, sorry. If you're gonna decide between Curry and Ruffin Pratt, I definitely go with Curry. I think Curry's gonna get time. Ruffin Pratt is definitely not gonna get the same amount of minutes that she was getting before. Seth Miller, yes. Vandersloot is good. Like I said before, she's the top guard of the night at 8,000. But I kind of favor Lloyd. I think Lloyd is in a better matchup. Even though Minnesota has been playing better at guard, defending guards, I still think that they haven't seen Jewel Lloyd in quite a while, and she's playing really, really good right now. And then just the combination of how well Lloyd and Bird play together, I think that's going to be a problem for Minnesota going into today, especially after they had their issues with Chelsea Gray last night, which I told you guys that Chelsea Gray was going to be the best play. Brunson or Dolson? Oh no, T. Dot, definitely Dolson. I love Stephanie Dolson today. At that price, you can't pass up Stephanie Dolson. At that price, she's had 2 good games against this team. So if you want to go just simply on how well she's played against Atlanta this year, she's done great. 5,900, you pretty much only need 2,930. She's put that up a few times already. 28.33. She's good for 25 to 30, but she's capable of getting plus 30. And here, 29 and 23 minutes against Atlanta, and then the next time around, 30 minutes, 37.5 fantasy points. Had a massive game, man. Had 3 steals, 1 block, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And Dolson, you remember, Dolson doesn't like to play up close. She's not a banger. Dolson likes to move around in the perimeter. She's a pretty decent shooter from 10, 15 feet, and she loves taking that sneaky 3-point play here and there. So when you look at Dolson and you look at Atlanta, you figure, hey, she's not going to go down there to what you're looking at. You're looking at Cheyenne Parker taking the brunt of the work up front, which she has done, and then kicking it back, and Miss Dolson getting herself going. So I like Dolson in this matchup against Atlanta, definitely. At that price, I mean, I can't pass her up. She is actually, to be honest with you, in every one of my lineups today. She's probably one of the players up front, because this is such a tough slate to find value in any one of the areas, guard or forward, like I said before. So I decided to get my value at in the front end by focusing on maybe Carolyn Swords or someone else. Diamond DeShields or Dolson. That's a good, Diamond DeShields, the combination again, Chicago against Atlanta. What's going to be a key, something key that's key, them defensively, offensively, excuse me. The key for them is going to definitely be the 2 backcourt girls, Quigley and Vandersloot. And then you got to think Diamond DeShields as the number 3. When these girls get in transition, if Atlanta allows Chicago to run up and down the court, both teams have a little bit of a pace right now, but their athleticism of Chicago with Diamond DeShields, Gabby Williams, and Vandersloot, and of course Quigley, it's really, really, really nice to see when these girls get going and everything is flowing right. They could be very dangerous. So yes, Diamond DeShields could be a pretty good play here, but I'd rather pay down and take Dolson. Hawkins or Powers? No, I kind of like aerial powers today. If I'm gonna go that way, Angel Guard. I think something. I know you're talking about Tiana Hawkins. Um, Tiana Hawkins definitely gets run. There's no doubt about it. I just, they brought aerial powers in here. I think they're gonna have to get her some time. She's actually priced higher than Hawkins in this actual slate by $400. So I mean, I'm gonna take that and say, hey, you know what? There's a chance that she is gonna play more minutes. She played 18. She looked good. They brought her. They brought her here. They brought her here for a reason. To make their front court a little bit stronger, to get better rebounding, to get some possible more offense out of that front court. And, if they give her an opportunity, Miss Powers is going to be fine. So I like her there. Old Gov Montgomery. I definitely do like Renee Montgomery today. Yes, I do. I didn't touch up on Renee Montgomery. That's my fault, guys. Renee Montgomery out of the Atlanta. Let me go back to that. Well, I did say that if you're gonna go Atlanta, you're gonna go Hayes or Montgomery. I did mention that. I would prefer to pay $2,400 less and take a stab at Renee Montgomery, just simply because she has the upside to give me six, almost 7x, and you're only gonna pay $5,000 for her. Whereas Tiffany Hayes is pretty steady. She is fantastic, but at 7,400 here. Oh man, it's tough to take her at 7,400. I know she's good. She is steady. She's a great cash play. 25 to 30, you can definitely get that for Tiffany Hayes, and I won't even be surprised she gets you 7x today and give you what she is priced at 7,400. She could probably get you 35 today, but she's more in that 25 to 29, 30 point range on a regular basis, consistent. Here it's just a little bit of a risk, but this is a good matchup for her. She is facing a very weak Chicago backcourt, but Chicago backcourt has been playing a little bit better defensively over the course of the last few games, so you got to take that into consideration as well. All right, Plum or Williams? Daniels, you're thinking between KP and TW? Wow. I don't know. That's a good one, man. I definitely like in the front court today. I kind of like Sanders as well as Howard as opposed to T. Young. Remember, T. Young plays forward. She's not pretty much playing guard, so I look at her always as a forward. They're going to need her today. She's like the second or third leading rebounder on the team for Vegas. But, man, I don't know. I think Kelsey Plum. I really like Kelsey Plum. I mean, Kelsey Plum is a starter, 5'6", 5,600. She is cheaper. It's just she is. Yeah, she's cheaper than Miss Young by $500, man. Yeah, I say take a stab at Plum. She's a decent 3-point shooter. She brings some things to the table. Remember, she was a top collegiate scorer, so she can score. It's just a matter of getting touches, and obviously, the offense revolves around, Miss Wilson and Miss McBride. So, but she's been getting her moments, and she's been getting her shots. She's been averaging over 20-somewhat points a game over the last 5 or 6 games. So she is doing pretty good. I think she's not a bad play. As far as price for 5,500, she's not a bad 5,600. Excuse me, she's not a bad play. Swords or Powers? I am still favoring Swords. Save the money. Powers is $200 more. You could go either or, but I think Swords, as long as she stays out of foul trouble, I think she'll be all right. They're going to need her today against Washington because, not Della Don so much, but Hawkins and Sanders, they really are like, especially Sanders. She's like a butcher, man. Yeah, she could really beat you up under there with fouls. Oh, man. Tim, I've been down that road several times. I felt like destroying things here. It's tough, man. I'm doing, I'm trying to give you the best possible advice. Obviously, it's entirely up to you. I like Dawson today. I hope she doesn't do that to me today. I'm expecting her to have a decent game. I really need her just to give me the average 25 to 30. I'll be happy with that at that price. But if she can get me a little bit more upside in that, that'll be fantastic. But as far as as she gets you 5 points, I'll be livid as well, especially after seeing what Dallas did last night, where Miss Thornton only had 2 shots that she took, and they took Glory Johnson out and only played her like 14 or 15 minutes. I mean, the Dallas coach should be shot. It's ridiculous. James Perkins, you asking me about Cecilia? Possibly. She doesn't get enough minutes for me, man. I definitely never feel her, to be totally honest with you. Minnesota, man. You're looking at Minnesota. Think of Brunson, Robinson, Augustus up front. I'm not even on Whalen anymore. And then you're looking at their main core, which is obviously Maya Moore and Sylvia Fowles. And, those are the girls you should be looking at. But, Cecilia could be a possible play. I think for me, if you're looking for someone in that lower tier area, again, the best play for me is, again, Carolyn Swords. And if you're not going to go Carolyn Swords, I think you can go Powers. And if you're not going to go Powers, I would at least be willing to pay for Monique Billings. But anybody down here, I'm just not on, man. I really am not. You could take a stab at Cecilia at 35 if you want to. I don't know. I know she played a few minutes last night. That does save some minutes for the front court players of Minnesota, because obviously they wouldn't play well enough. But 17 minutes, 11 fantasy points. I mean, if she could get you a little bit more, it'll be great. She almost met value. So, but again, the game before that 9, the game before that only 3. It's not enough. It's just not enough for me. I don't know. Entirely up to you guys. Renee Montgomery or Gabby Williams. I like Renee Montgomery today. I like Renee Montgomery for Atlanta today. I think she's going to have a nice game. All right, guys. Elizabeth Williams. I am on Elizabeth Williams today. She has had 2 good games against this team, so I like that. And then she's shooting 41% from the floor, and the team Chicago has their issues up front as far as defending teams with good shooting players, as far as field goal percentage. So I kind of am leaning a little bit towards Elizabeth Williams. I can assure you I have put Elizabeth Williams in at least 3 out of my 6 lineups today. So yeah, I definitely like Elizabeth Williams today. I definitely like Renee Montgomery. McBride. Yeah, we'll see what happens with McBride. Well, anyway, all right, guys, it's 6:48. I'm actually a little bit past my time. I definitely want to at least look at my lineups one more time. That gives you guys a few moments also to look at your lineups. I'm sure you guys are looking at your lineups as we've been going along, but I haven't been able to do anything on my end. So we've got 11 minutes to go. It gives me a few minutes. Man, I wish you guys all a lot of luck. I appreciate you guys coming out. Obviously, tomorrow there's no live stream. There's only one game going on, so there's no video, no live stream tomorrow. But we will be back with a 4-game slate on Sunday, and I will be doing a live show an hour before that. I think the first game is at 3 o'clock, so I will be on around 2 o'clock. I will definitely let people know on Twitter, the Facebook group, on Instagram. I'll definitely post it out there, so be on the lookout for that. And that's basically it, man. That's basically it, man. I wish you guys a lot of luck, man. Let's make some money tonight, and if you do, man, let me know, man. I'd love to hear those of you that have some success in making some money with the lineups. All right, guys, so please let me know. All right, man, good luck. Have a great day. Enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.